My name is Louise Sepanik. I've been on the trip committee about 4 years, and it's been 4 really fun years. One of the best things about escorting trips is the people. They are always so much fun, and they just want to have a good time, and we plan our trips to have a good time, and everybody does. In April, we are going to go to the Vera Bradley clearance sale. They hold it once a year in Fort Wayne at the gigantic Coliseum. And we're going on the bus, which is the best way to go because all the deals are for bus people. You'll be dropped off at the door. You don't have to worry about parking. Your admission is already paid. Buses get escorted immediately to the sales floor. They don't have to wait in line. When you're done shopping, bus people get to go through a private checkout, which saves tons of time and feet are not so tired. Then there's a nice place to rest. They give you free snacks while you wait for the rest of your bus group to gather, and then you're on the way home. The day I took the group before, I believe most people saved about 70%.
Wow, okay.
I had 2 things on my shopping list that day, and I came home with 8. So on the way to Fort Wayne, we're going to stop in Warsaw, Indiana at the Hallmark Museum. They have all of the keepsake ornaments, over 3,000 of them, that have been put out in the last 30 to 40 years. And coincidentally, they have a little store there, so everything won't be for sale, but you can buy some pretty cool stuff there too. After we leave the Hallmark Museum, we're going into Fort Wayne to their very popular Italian restaurant, Casa Ristorante. We'll have a very nice lunch and we'll all be full and ready to shop. It's much easier than going on your own. Much faster, much more efficient, and much more fun. One of the really fun things about the Vera Bradley trip is we invite you to take your family and friends with you, so that if you have a neighbor who likes Vera Bradley or a sister-in-law, a daughter, invite them to come along. It's an intergenerational trip. Everybody's welcome. In June, we have a trip called Stepping Back, and we are stepping back in time. We're going back to the turn of the last century, the early 1900s, and we are going to a place called Crossroads Village, which is near Flint, Michigan. While we're there, we will have the opportunity to ride many old things, behind a 1903 steam engine. We'll ride turn-of-the-century Ferris wheels, carousels, and we will have a ride on a recreated paddle wheeler. In the village, there are 35 buildings that have been moved to this location. They're historic, authentic buildings from the Midwest. And in some of them, you'll find craftsmen who are doing various things like churning butter and doing woodworking, things that were typical of the era. There'll be a doctor's office to visit. Oh, and there's an old opera house, and we'll be entitled to go and tour the opera house and see a show there. It won't be opera, it will be fun. While we are visiting the village and in all the craftsmen's shops, they will be working and answering any questions that you have. They will even teach you what they're doing if you ask. You know, they have a ride there called the Venetian Swing. If you've never seen one, you are not going to be able to imagine it, but you will be able to ride it. This is a great place to take your grandchildren. When I have been here before, I took my granddaughter. I mentioned it to her recently that we were planning a trip there, and she got all excited. She remembered being there, and she had a really, really good time, and I think your grandchildren will too. So your children, your grandchildren, anybody you know who's young at heart, bring them along. We're stepping back in time.